Good morning. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Maybe afternoon for some of you. I want to welcome you to the broadcast today, leadership, communication, and collaboration. Today, we're going to talk about those three things. So first, let's just jump in and let me introduce you to my assistant. Her name is Jacqueline. And Jacqueline will be with us today streaming your questions. So if you have questions, you want to put them out there, she will gather those and present them to me throughout the time that we're communicating together. Thank you, Jacqueline. So good day again. We're going to talk about growth that requires healthy confrontation. Most people don't like confrontation, right? They think, oh, no, confrontation is bad. But confrontation doesn't have to be bad. If it's a healthy confrontation, it brings about growth. It brings about awareness. It's powerful. And I develop leadership that cares. That's the framework that we work on. It's about communication, not just giving transactional information out there, what you need to do, but actually connecting with the other person at the heart level, making a true connection, understanding them, they understand you, and there's synergy that happens between us. It's about our attitude. Do we have an attitude that loves and appreciates the people around us, that is positive and growth oriented? Are we focused on relationships, retaining our employees because they know we care and we want the best for them as well as the best for the company? It's about equipping ourselves and our teams with emotional intelligence. And what is emotional intelligence? It's all about self-awareness, what's going on within you, what's going on in the thoughts in your head, the behaviors that those knee-jerk reactions you have, that you go, why did I communicate that way? Why did I respond like that? So it's about awareness, self-awareness of what's going on with you. What are those beliefs that are hiding in your subconscious that you're not really even aware of, but they drive that trigger response out of you? It's about how you self-regulate, how you have self-control, how you build in a response time so that you're not reacting, but you're responding out of love and sincerity. And then it's about social awareness, about the people around you. When you walk into a room, what's going on? Can you see if someone's under distress, right? It's about managing those relationships. When somebody's really stressful and you just walk up and pounce on them about all the things that need to be done, and you're not even being aware of what's happening with them, that's a lack of emotional intelligence. We get a lot of bully bosses and micromanagement from people who are not emotionally aware. So our goal in building leadership that cares is to develop all of these things. And then the last one is sales enablement, because sales really is about relationships, connecting with people, understanding the need that they have, and providing a service or product to meet those needs. So that's how we focus here at Candace Mae Training and Services. Let me tell you a little bit about me, Candace Mae. I have a brand new book, Heaven Within, Restoring Wholeness for Better Leadership. It came out in June 2022 and was awarded as the best-selling author in 6 countries, which is the UK, Australia, France, Germany, USA, and India. And then, of course, we have a lot of people in Canada. So I want to thank all of you for your participation in this. And we have a special the week of Thanksgiving where the Kindle book will be on special discount. So look for that on Amazon if you like. I am also a certified consultant, speaker, trainer, and coach with the Maxwell Leadership Team. And those of you who don't know who John Maxwell is, that's a picture of he and I together there. He is a international best-selling author worldwide. The book there, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, is on its 25th year anniversary. John's been doing leadership development for over 40 years. He started out as a pastor and moved into full-time speaking and authoring, as I said. So he's been mentoring me about 20 years and great impact in my life. Some other big people in my life were Stephen Covey, Dr. John Townsend, Dr. Henry Cloud, a few others. But I also have a bachelor's from California Baptist University in business administration, and my master's is from University of Redlands in IT and project management. I worked for over 22 years in corporate and higher education, facilitating cross-functional teams and implementing enterprise systems. And so leading people is my passion. Here at Candace Mae's Training and Services, how do we help you? Again, we help you through that communication of CARES framework. We have speaking classes. I, as a speaker, offer speaking trainings, the Maxwell Method of Speaking. We have an online portal with courses there, and then Time with Me for Synergy as a group, and one-on-one coaching specifically focused around you and your presentation. We also have leadership skills we develop, and we have coaching services. We do operational process assessments and helping you re-engineer processes for streamlining. Again, I have a lot of expertise in that area. And then we do spin sales model training, and that is really relational style of selling. We do group workshops, and we have lots of assessments for leadership development, 360 degrees assessments. That's when you're getting feedback anonymously from people above you at the same level on peer, and then subordinates below you and outside people. So it really reveals your blind spots to help you become aware. So we have a vast number of services that we offer. So that's enough about me. Let's jump right into the webinar about leadership, communication, and collaboration. Leadership is influence. John Maxwell says leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Leadership is about vision, about developing that culture in your company or organization. It's about valuing the people who are part of your team, bringing them in with a common language. It's about believing in them, believing that they can achieve and do great things in this world. It's unconditionally loving people, understanding what inspires them, and inspiring them to move in the same direction as you with the organization and the vision of what you're trying to achieve. Now, management, on the other hand, is operational. It's about processes, procedures, prioritizing tasks and things that need to be done. It's about hiring and firing. It's about compensational decisions and things of that length. Very operational focused. A lot of times we have people who do outstanding work in any area, and they get promoted to a leadership position to lead the people. And they don't know how to lead. They know how to manage. They have a skill set, but they don't have the people set and the soft skills of how to inspire and walk in the values and to really make that impact with people. So our goal is to recognize that influence and operational management are both critical skill sets. So we need both. But today we're going to talk about leadership, okay? I just want to make sure we're all clear on that. As I focus on leadership, I don't want to minimize the importance of operational management. They go hand in hand, but they're very separate skill sets. And everyone has a perspective. So when it comes to communication, we need to understand that everyone has their own viewpoint, right? If we can take the time to understand that somebody else's perspective is different than ours, we can have a more powerful connection, and we can even broaden how we reach other people. Because I like to use this exercise with a ball. What if I were to hold up this beach ball and ask you, what colors do you see? You might tell me you see orange and green. And I would tell you, I don't see orange and green at all. I see red, white, and blue. Does that mean I'm wrong and you're right? Should we argue over the fact that you don't even see it? That's not even what we're looking at. Or can we turn the ball around and see red, white, and blue? And if we turn it sideways, we can see all of us are right. We have all of the colors, right? All of those colors are present. So all of our perspectives are correct from the angle that we're seeing the object. Just like in life, we have different opinions. Even elections come up, we have different opinions of what might work and what might not work. Does it mean one is right and one is wrong? It just means we're different. We have different views. We've had different experiences in our lives. We need to come together and recognize and honor for someone else, they have a different viewpoint. And that's okay. That's their perspective. We can still get along. We can still build a common language, and we can move forward together. As humans, this is part of communication, understanding the different styles, different perspectives. And we were all born with a personality of our own. We're all very much unique. And so there's 4 different personality styles that have been developed over the years. There's lots of personality styles. There's Myers-Briggs, there's DISC, there's I can't think of some, but there's several others that are out there, and they all measure the main elements. They just label them differently. So the 4 areas that we focus on are dominant, influence, steady, and compliant. And I'm going to speak to you from the Maxwell DISC method. I'm a certified behavior and communication behavior consultant with the Maxwell DISC method. And let's look at this. When we understand patterns, we get along better in life. We understand that there are patterns of behavior that certain animals have. We know what to watch for. We know there's certain patterns of behavior that are expected. We come to a stoplight at the street, then we know how to behave and interact so that traffic flows freely and everyone stays safe. Well, as humans, if we can understand the different personality styles, the primary ones, we can then observe what the people around us are functioning in, their behaviors and styles, and then adapt our way of communicating with them in a more powerful way to connect. So we have dominance, which is D, influence, which is I, the S, which is steadiness, and the C, which is compliant. And again, we're not putting people in a box. We're not saying everyone's either a D, an I, an S, or a C. There are elements of all of these characteristics in each one of us, but some of these characteristics are stronger than others. And remember, there's a spectrum for each characteristic. So let's look at the D. 3% of the population is considered a dominant personality style. They're seeking control. They're very decisive. They can make quick decisions. They have no problem with going with their gut. They're extremely direct. Bottom line results, they're right there in your face. They'll tell you what they think. No problem with that. They're really good as multitaskers, and they're driven by authority, right? They just want the bottom line. They want things done. They're task oriented. They'll embrace any change that will help them get results. And they're very comfortable giving you direct feedback. They treasure loyalty from other people, right? They are, and they're very loyal. But their greatest fear is being taken advantage of. So if you ever known somebody who's in this characteristic style, very direct and bottom line, quick decisions and wants results, if you've noticed they get triggered sometimes and react, think about what's causing them to react. It's probably a situation where they feel they've been taken advantage of. So when you're working with a D, you want to make sure not to package anything in such a way that they feel they're being taken advantage of. Be sure to address that. The I is an influencer. There's 11% of the population that is considered an I. These are the life of the party. These are bubbly people who are persuasive, spontaneous, they're friendly, they like attention. They'll be the first one to stand up and offer to speak to a presentation. They're seeking a friendly environment and they need to stay busy, right? They may be considered not very good at follow-up, but it's not that they're not good at follow-up. It's that they have so much going on and they're multitasking that they're jumping to the next thing. And they're very relationship oriented. They're very people. The D is very task oriented. They're focused on getting results. Now the I will want results, but they're going to get it through people, right? They're emotional and they're animated. They have a lot to say. They're great storytellers and they're positive. They're encouragers and they treasure great experiences with other people. If you want something done, they may work through other people to get them done. But their greatest fear is rejection or loss of approval. So when you're working with them, be sure to pay attention that you're making them feel included and appreciated and valued. The S, 69% of the population is an S. And these are team-oriented people. They're very good with follow through. They're loyal and they will accept you as you are. These are great people. Notice there's 69% of the S's, and we said there was 3% of the population that were D's. It's a good thing, isn't it? we need more people who are team players than those who are very, bottom line focused. The S, again, is easygoing and agreeable. They're evenly paced. They're a great listener. That's what makes them peacemakers. They will take the time to treasure you, treasure the relationship, and try to get you and someone else who are having a challenge to work together. They're very compassionate people. But their greatest fear is loss or confrontation. They're peacemakers. They want everyone to get along. They don't want that in-your-face conversation. But again, confrontation doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a good thing if it's done in a healthy way, where we're using the personality styles to communicate with each other, and we're making sure not to push the buttons that hit their greatest fears. And the fourth section is a C. This is what we call compliance. It's 17% of the population is C-based. These are analytical people. They're planners. They're really focused on accuracy. They're great for researching, maybe accountants, doing those spreadsheets, all of those. They're going to be giving you lots and lots of detail. They have a harder time making a decision than a D because there might be something they missed. They're going to keep wanting to get more information, more research. They get analysis paralysis, right? But they're very conscientious and they're accurate. They're that detailed oriented and they want that perfection. That's the reason. So their greatest fear is criticism. They're trying so hard to be accurate and perfect. They're pouring themselves into their work. So if you come to them and you're attacking their work, they're going to feel criticized and condemned almost. So when you're dealing with someone who's a C with this personality, make sure that you're giving them the value of who they are and just asking about their work, and make sure that the way you're phrasing those things is clear to them, that you value them and all the effort and work they put into this, but you have a few questions that would help you understand a few things better. Very important to communicate with them the way they need to be communicated with. Let's listen to Kayla. She took the DISC communication with her team. Let's hear about her experience.
The personality and DISC assessment for me was an eye-opener. It enabled me to have a better understanding of what my communication skills are and how I can apply them. This has allowed me to communicate better with my members of my team by recognizing their personality types as well. It was definitely a much needed first step that helped guide me through the remaining modules of the course.
And the next section that I want to talk about in the Maxwell method of DISC is we have a section called the power DISC. This is something where we measure your leadership skills in 7 areas. It's in influencing, it's in directing, it's in processing, it's in detailing, it's in creativity, it's in persisting and relationships. And if you will see in this graph here that this person that we pulled this graph from was a very high influencer, and then a director, and then persistence. So if you were to ask them to go and work in an area that required a lot of processing and detailed work, that would probably not be very good for them. That's their lowest level of skills, right? So for this person, you want to put them in a leadership role where they can really shine and connect with people and direct the people, like an orchestra. A conductor of the orchestra gets everybody in harmony. So this person with a high I and a high D, influencing and directing, this would be a skill set that we would want to really capture and take advantage of. John Maxwell says, methods of communication change, but connection is key. Now, over the years, we've had lots of communication styles. We've had texting, we've had faxing, we've had email, we've had in the old Western, we had the gram that we would send, right? We've had U.S. mail, the snail mail we call today. The methods of communication have changed over the years. Today we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have so many things. So remember the pagers we used to have? You get buzzed. The methods of communications change over time, but the principles of communication are timeless. They stand still and they stay with us as we go. So we often see in leadership teams or companies, there's a stress in the leadership team. They're not communicating and connecting in a way that they should, right? There is a conversation that needs to be held to bring the team together. So as I said, we have leadership assessments. Well, this is a team assessment that we offer. It plays like a game called the leadership game. And this is where we have a strategic discussion. There's dice and there's cards. There's opportunities to edify your team members. There are debates that you will have with the team members on a topic that's provided on a card that you select, and asking you questions about leadership principles to see where you stand and what your understanding is. And then there's even strategic questions about what kind of problems will your company face, the biggest challenge your company will face in the next 6 months. And that really is something that we don't always stop and ask in the business, but we should be. And so this is an opportunity to bring the team together, have a lot of fun, laughter, learn about each other, bond at a deeper level, and really hone in these conversations. And you can pick them up later because you've got a great starting point and connection. And then I can provide back to you observations of your team and discuss ways to build your team to stronger levels than they are today. So we call this the leadership experience. Let's hear from Steve, the CEO of Savvy Creative in Canada, what his experience was playing the leadership game with his team.
What I really liked about the leadership game was the questions that Candace Mae had for us. They were great questions that really brought about conversations, really, and forced discussion within all of our team. And they're great questions around topics that we don't necessarily really, talk about at work. So I really, really liked it from that standpoint. And the game element was wonderful as well because it allowed us to have a lot of fun while also having good, deep, meaningful conversations.
So we've talked about several things. We've talked about communication, understanding each other, understanding your communication styles. We've talked about deep strategic conversations with your team and pulling them together. We've talked about communication methods and those principles. All of these things are important for building effective relationships. Having self-awareness and social awareness are critical. We need to work together because connecting is more of a skill than natural talent. When we say, oh, I'm not very good about connecting with other people, I really am kind of too shy. Well, rest assured that this is a skill that you can develop. Connecting, learning how to be aware of yourself and aware of others and how to really value each other and connect. That's what I'm here to help you with. And even as a speaker, we need to connect with the audience, whether that's a one-on-one person that we're having a conversation with, or it's in a meeting of 10 people, or that 3,000 people as we do a presentation. And as a communication coach and trainer, I do offer communication and presentation skills training. We have an online portal with courses in there and one-on-one time with me, as well as group sessions. So that is something you can find on our website and give us a connection if that's something that speaks to you. So as we're speaking, one-on-one or in groups as a speaker, we get better. The first time we present, we're never any good. But over time, it gets better and better. And there's 5 factors of connecting. If you want to take notes, these are 5 things that you can walk away with today and put into practice, right? It's all about valuing people, believing in the people around you, and unconditionally loving them. Those are the messages you want to get across to your audience, regardless of what the topic is that you're conveying. A quick way to gain credibility with an individual or a group or an audience is to borrow it from somebody else who has credibility with them. So oftentimes as a speaker, you're introduced by someone else that the crowd already knows. And so if this speaker who's introducing you thinks highly of you, they're giving authority to you on behalf of those around you. So who you know can open the door for you to connect with other people is a great question to ask. Who do you know that I should know? And I ask that for each of you. Who do you know that I should know? If you're enjoying today's presentation or you see value in this presentation or the pieces, and you know somebody who could benefit, please refer us to them. Send them to our YouTube channel here today so that they can connect and watch this video and find the resources that they need to move to the next level. Another factor in connecting is insight. If you share an area of expertise generously with other people, people will connect with you. If you give reasons of what worked for you, things that helped you along your way, people are looking for help. People are looking for advice. They're looking for somebody to show them the way. And if you can share the insight that you have, people will respect you. And it will develop a sense of connection with you because you've walked where they're trying to walk, and they're going to seek your advice. A third factor is success. People want to be with successful people. They want success themselves, and they want to be around other people who are successful. In fact, they say if you look at the 5 people around you, that will determine your success. So if you want to be successful, you want to gather successful people around you or seek out people who've had success and accomplished things in the areas that you want to accomplish, and listen to what they have to say. Ask to meet with them one-on-one. Ask them to mentor you. Bring a list of questions for them. This is a way of connecting. A fourth factor in connecting is ability. What can you do? Success is what you have done, right? Ability is what are you able to do? If you have a high level of ability in any area, others may want to connect with you because of that ability. If you have the ability to speak and we're looking for a speaker, we're going to look for you. If you have the ability to teach and we need to learn something in the area that you teach in, we're going to look for you. If you are a great salesperson, right? And we need a salesperson on our team, we're going to look for you. So what can you do is a way to build connection. Excellence connects. People admire people who do things well. They want to be like you when you do things well. And they feel connected with you. And when you speak, others will listen because they're looking for your expertise and your abilities. And the fifth area for connecting is sacrifice. What are you? Who are you, right? How are you living your life? If you've made sacrifices, if you've suffered a lot of tragedy or overcome painful obstacles, you can be a source of hope to other people. Everyone has struggles. Doesn't matter what area of life they're in. We all struggle with something. We're either going into a struggle, coming out of a struggle, or we're in the middle of a struggle. So many people will relate to you if you can be vulnerable and transparent and share some of the struggles that you've had. And they will admire you that you've been able to overcome those obstacles, and they will seek your advice. Additional tips for connecting, John Maxwell shares. These are based from the Maxwell method of communication, 5 principles of connecting and 5 practices of connecting. And when we're with people, whether one-on-one or a group, we want to find common ground. There's so much animosity in the world, so much hatred out there, because we're all looking at our differences. I don't agree with you, right? It's a negative confrontation. But we can have positive confrontations. We can have positive experiences by focusing on the common ground that we both hold. And we want to do that in every situation that we encounter. Always look for the common ground. We want to keep communication simple. We don't have to use complexity. No matter what we're doing, it's always good to go back to the basics, right? Remember, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's about the other people. I'm here today, not about me, but I'm here today to share with you some skill sets that could help you along the way. I'm here offering services to up-level you and your company. Capture people's intent. Sometimes people say things and their words get mumbled. Are you looking to be focused on the words they said, or do you want to look for the intent that was behind their word? Did they say something with animosity, or did they say something with a heartfelt care? So go beyond the words in practice, and the principle is capture their intent. And then inspire other people. Inspiring other people is believing in them, knowing what is important to them, speaking life into them, being authentic yourself, putting forth who you really are transparently. That inspires people to stay positive. And it does require energy. Any relationship requires energy. We're energetic beings. We're in a physical body with an energetic spirit, and our words are vibrational, and they go out and embrace people where they are. And we can make a difference with the word choice that we make and with how we're impacting other people. Remember, leadership is about influence. Leadership is about understanding your values. What's important to you? How does that align with the values of the company? Bringing people in with shared values that we move together with a clear vision of where we're going. And then stay authentic in all your relationships. And that takes more skill than talent, right? Communication overall takes more skill than talent. Being able to, what is the skill in being authentic in relationships? Well, that requires you to have some emotional intelligence about who you are, what's important to you, what your values are, that you're walking in your values. Are you walking your values? Some people say, oh, I value family, but they're a workaholic and they're spending no time with their family. So if you value family, have you taken the time to put your family into your schedule and showing up for them? Stay authentic in all your relationships. Let's hear about Eve and his experience in working with Candace Mae Training and Services.
The first component of Candace Mae's team training was the personality assessment. It helped me to better understand my personality type and my team's personalities. I found that it was a great foundation for the rest of the course because I learned to better empathize with my team and how to effectively communicate with each of them. I also realized the fact that we're all so different is what actually makes our team stronger.
So leadership is influence. Influence is not about impressing other people. It's about connecting with them. It's about showing that you care. It's about having that vision. Where there's no vision, people perish. John Maxwell says leadership is not about doing it alone. If you want to be a successful leader, you must develop others around you. And I want to talk to you about just that. 7 reasons to develop the leaders around you. It's important as an employer or a team leader that you're understanding the importance of growth. Those closest to the leader will determine the success of that leader. That's right. The people around you will determine your success. Remember what I said? The 5 people closest to you will determine your success and impact your level. If you want to be a great leader, you're going to focus on your own growth and grow yourself. And then you're going to help those people around you to grow into a strong leader as well. Because as they grow, they can take more work from you. And they can also help the people around them and lift them and expand them. You become multiplied, right? It's much bigger. An organization's growth potential is directly related to its personnel's potential. If you have a company that's growing and expanding, and you haven't identified the leaders who are potential leaders around you, and you haven't developed them, then you're going to be stuck when it comes time to expand because you have no one in leadership to step into that role. So it's important that we identify people who are potential leaders in our organization and begin to pour into them. And when we develop leaders and we have strong leaders in our organization, it's going to attract other potential leaders to want to be part of the team, part of that leadership team. And that brings solidarity and growth and synergy. And potential leaders, as I said earlier, help carry the load for you. They can do more and lead a larger group. So everything is multiplied. And leaders who mentor potential leaders multiply their effectiveness, which I've been repeating. And develop leaders enhance the future of the organization. When you get ready to expand, you say, it's not a problem. When I get ready to expand, I'll just hire somebody from the outside and bring them in. And that is certainly a viable option. Yet, when you bring somebody in from the outside, they don't know your company's culture. They don't necessarily know the people in your organization and what motivates them and drives them and what their skill sets are. And every time you bring in, Patrick Lencioni brings in the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Every time you bring someone in, there's the chaos that happens, right? As we have an adjustment period, getting used to those personalities, what drives them, what doesn't them, what are their greatest fears, how do we collaborate together, what is the culture of the company, do their values match the company's values, are we moving in the same direction together? So there's a lot of factors that come into play when you hire someone from the outside and bring them in. If you develop people within your organization to step into leadership, you've been cultivating them all along. They understand your company culture. They already have the values because you hired them based on the values that they have, and you've cultivated those values so they match the company. They've already know your internal decision processes and that informal organizational chart as well as the formal one. So there's a lot of power in having leaders develop within your organization and move up because they know every area of the business and they worked in different areas. So they have insight in areas that someone coming from the outside in may not have. And then the 7th aspect is the more people you lead, the more leaders you need. And that's just makes sense, doesn't it? To be a good leader, if you've got too many people as a direct report to you, it's going to be very hard for you to manage that. So if you've got 300 employees, you're going to need a lot more leaders than you do if you have 10 employees. So as a leader, the question you want to ask yourself is, am I raising up potential leaders in my company? If you're not, why aren't you? We need to be doing that. I can help you walk through material to learn how to identify who those potential leaders are. The next question you want to ask yourself is the toughest challenge: creating a climate for potential leaders. It's difficult to create a climate or a culture, but I guarantee you, if you don't design the culture that you want, if you don't stop and assess what is our vision, what are the values that we want to run on, are all of our operational questions focused around these values and taking those values into consideration so that we're walking our talk? And are we providing nurturing all of our employees and building skill sets where needed into people and developing the character of our leaders? Because this is a growth organization. When we do that, we're developing our culture. We're staying alert to where the culture might be breaking down, and we're realigning it constantly to make sure that we're on track. That is how you create a climate for potential leaders and a strong company culture. If you don't create the culture, it'll evolve on itself and you'll have chaos and negative conflict. So that's your greatest challenge is managing that culture. The leader's primary responsibility is to identify those potential leaders in the organization. Not everyone's going to be a good leader, right? We want to find those people who have a strength set that will lend them to be a strong leader. And then we want to cultivate that. The leader's crucial task is to nurture those potential leaders. So once we've identified them, we're nurturing them, we're feeding them, we're building their skill set and their character, and we're delegating and letting them grow. And then the leader's daily requirement is to equipping those potential leaders, delegating things out to them, giving them the skill sets they need to move forward. So when they're ready to step up, you've been building them all along into greater and greater responsibility. And then the leader's lifelong commitment is to develop potential leaders. Sometimes people who are not strong leaders will feel threatened by strong people around them. It's important that we understand is we want to work ourselves out of a job, right? I want to be able to, if I'm the company owner or I'm in senior management or a good leadership role, I may want to take vacation. I need people who are strong around me who can step up and carry the plate. I want them to succeed. But if I'm too insecure in myself and who I am and what my skill set is, I'm not going to be picking people to come up and be the best. I'll surround myself with people less than me. A leadership principle that John Maxwell talks about is the leadership lid. And that is that each of us has a cap on our skill set. And for leadership, as I said, those are separate skill sets than the management skill sets. And for our leadership, we have a cap. And if our cap is at 4, okay, we have a skill set 1 to 10 in leadership. 10 is a very high leadership skill. 1 is very poor. Say we're at a 4 and on our leadership, and I'm in a leadership role, but I'm not very good at leadership skills, and I'm a 4. I'm only going to hire people who are a 2 around me. That's not very good for the company. And I will hold anybody who's better than me down. Okay, so I want to build my leadership skills, and I want to bring people in around me whose leadership skills are higher, and I want to raise them up. Because if I have somebody whose leadership skills are a 7 and I'm building into them, they can become an 8, 9, maybe even a 10. And they will hire people and keep people around them who are also 7s or above, right? So it's important that we understand our role in developing potential leaders and the power of developing potential leaders. Because leadership really involves 3 things: competence in our area of skill set, connection with people that we've been speaking about, and collaboration. And then character, competence, connection, and character. And as a leadership coach and trainer, I offer private one-on-one coaching and group coaching. And why do you want to do coaching? What does coaching have to do? Well, coaching, especially if it's layered on top of any like training that we might do with a group, and then we have coaching on top of that, we get an 80% higher retention and application rate of transformation. Oftentimes people will go to a training and 2 weeks later they've forgotten what they've learned, or they, kind of dwindles. But when you've got training and then you've coupled it with coaching, people are constantly being reminded of what they've been learning in that training. They have challenges, they have accountability. It's a safe place in a coaching environment to explore new ideas, new beliefs, talk about, as a sounding board, challenges that you're facing in the workplace. How do you overcome it? How do you embrace this one person that's being a difficult relationship for you? How do you handle it? Self-awareness of yourself. What are those triggers that are getting hit from you? Why are you responding the way you are? Do you have some blind spots that you don't really realize that you are behaving a certain way that others are seeing, that we can help you work through? Exploring those new beliefs, developing and internalizing new skill set within yourself, providing accountability. Are you getting done what you wanted to get done? Helping you to develop SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. All those elements have to be set up for a goal. Have you set goals and never been able to achieve them? You probably didn't set them up in a way that was smart and measurable. We can also develop the leadership within you through coaching and one-on-one. And when you develop that leadership skill set in you, that helps you in your career as well as in your business and growing your business. And as you develop the people around you, that's really going to not only enhance them, it'll enhance you, and it'll expand your company and in career as you move forward. So all of those are benefits of coaching. Let's listen to Josh, the managing director, who had one-on-one coaching and training with me, and see what he has to say about developing the leaders around him.
Well, as an executive leader, I feel like sometimes we get caught up working in the business rather than working on the business. And we all want what's best for our teams, but we don't necessarily have the times to coordinate, do our research, pull together all the different training programs to actually do it ourselves. And so Candace Mae, when I first started speaking with her, she just had a program that was kind of the right fit for me personally and for our team. And so when we first started discussing it, she was going to be providing coaching for me as an executive and leadership training personally. She was going to provide training to our team through what's called 21 Laws. She was also going to do some personality and profile assessments that would give us a kind of a better idea of the composition and makeup of the different personalities that fit on our team. And then she was going to work with us on communicating and collaborating. And I think that was the kind of the clincher, being able, we all want to work together better. And you have a whole bunch of different personalities with different, what I like to call the kiss of death, what things, just make people really upset, or what things is the way to speak to them. And just by understanding the personality profiles and things like that, we were able to kind of draw that together to communicate more effectively.
So talent is not enough, and experience isn't enough. To lead others, you must be able to communicate and connect. President Gerald R. Ford said that. So I'd love to get started with you today. And if you liked what you've seen today and any pieces of this training opportunities sound like something you could benefit from, or your team, you can use your cell phone and just scan that QR code. It'll pop up that website that I've also placed there in case your phone isn't handy, CandaceMae.com/team-leadership. You can learn more information about a comprehensive leadership training. Understand that I do individual workshops, I do public speaking, and again, we have my book. If you want to learn more about me and developing the leader within you, Heaven Within, Restoring Wholeness for Better Leadership. You can find that on Amazon. Jacqueline, do we have any additional questions that might have come up? You're muted.
Hi, everyone. I haven't seen any question, Miss Candice, but there are a lot of comments. I would like you to see it, pop it in on the screen. Um, Here is from Joel Sindler. Great points. Love the personal connection that promotes deeper team relationships, not a standard practice.
Nice. Thank you,
Yeah.
Joel. Yeah. Fabulous. Love it. Want to hear more about these. Great,
Yeah.
John. Then please make sure and go out to this website, CandaceMae.com/team leadership. You can learn more there, and you can connect with me, send me a message, and then we can schedule a call and have a conversation. Fabulous. Great beach ball analogy. I've never heard that one. Great. Yeah, that's one of my favorite, the beach ball analogy. We all have different perspectives. We need to honor each other. Love the insight. Great. Glad you were able to join us. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Jacqueline. Cindy, this is such great information. I feel inspired to build stronger relationships and help others become great leaders. Fabulous. That's the goal. Inspiring you to be your best self and build the people around you. Nurture your team and become the best version of themselves with our guided 25-week team training. CandaceMae.com/team-leadership. Yeah, fabulous. Well, I want to thank all of you for being here today. If you'd like to pick up my book, Heaven Within, Restoring Wholeness for Better Leadership, you can find that on Amazon, author name Candace Mae. Is there any limit to the team you would work with? Any limit to the team you would work with? I can work internationally. I can work virtually. I can also meet you in person and work with your team. So I would say there is no limit to the team that I can work with. People are people, and the communication and leadership principles are timeless and impact in all industries. I will say that there are different styles of leadership, and understanding the different styles and understanding, I like to call it situational leadership. Each leadership style has a place and a time for it. And when you grow your understanding of the different approaches that you can take with leadership, whether it be democratic, whether it be hands-off, laissez-faire, whether it be visionary leadership, or collaborative, those are all big things. So each style is appropriate depending on the industry you're in, and helping you explore what those are would be great, in my honor. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. Will I travel to meet with a team? I absolutely will travel to meet with a team. I have a client in Kansas. I have a client up in Canada. I'm more than welcome to travel and meet with them. I do retreats, a weekend retreat, or a couple days during the week. If that's something that you want to do too, or just have me come in to help facilitate. Absolutely would be happy to do that. Yes. Again, thanks for being here today. My website is CandaceMae.com, and I appreciate all of you for joining us. Have a blessed day.